great pleasure to be able to talk on this important motion and share my congratulations to the volunteers and indeed everyone who has been involved in committees over 50 years for the Altavilla Irpina Sports and Social Club. Many of those volunteers and many of the people who founded the club live in my electorate of Morialta, sir. Many of them are known to me, and not just those who are in the member for Hartley, Vincent Tarsia's family, although there are many of those as well amongst my constituents who are involved proudly in this important club. Whenever I go to the Altavilla Club, which I do on a fairly regular basis, it always feels like I'm coming home. I was at the pensioners' lunch with the member for Hartley, the leader of the opposition, and Anna Finizio, the Liberal candidate for Dunstan at the recent by-election, just a month ago. And it was an enormous joy to be there with the excellent service of everyone involved at the Altavilla Club, all the volunteers as well. But being able to go around that room, it's like family. It's like being in Morialta with some people from Hartley and Dunstan there as well. And the Morialta community, of course, supports this club in many ways. When the member for Hartley gave his speech, he outlined some of the specific history. He thanked a number of people by name. I don't propose to go over that ground, sir. I want to add some of my own reflections. But I do acknowledge the member for Hartley and his family, obviously, because of the connections that he has given me to, not just in the club when I first became the member for Morialta in 2010, but also the opportunity to meet with members of his family in Altavilla. And that was an exceptional experience, which I'll come back to. The Altavilla Club hosts so many different fundraisers. I've been to the Altavilla Club to support heart research. I've been to the Altavilla Club to support a range of Italian causes, including after natural disasters in Italy. The Altavilla Club reaches out to the community more broadly to make sure their facilities are available to support worthy causes at a reasonable price. And of course, the food is always terrific, but the facilities are tremendous as well. Earlier it was talked about the playground upgrade. I can share with the House that came in particularly handy for my family when the Altavilla Club was the host venue for one of my daughter's first birthday / baptism lunches, which went exceptionally well. We filled the club. It's no easy thing for us to find a suitable venue for, well, I'll say my wife's extended family, because mine is the very smaller component of the arrangement. But it was a tremendous day, and we'll always think fondly of that day, and especially the fact that playground was the answer to all of the parents in the room's prayers. The casual meals that are offered are tremendous, and an opportunity to connect with community and to connect with culture as well. The Altavilla Club plays a really important role in the San Pellegrino Festa, as well understood. It's one of the most significant cultural and religious activities in the eastern suburbs. Currently located at the Hectorville Church of the Annunciation, and indeed the grounds behind, and the school obviously adjacent. That festa is really popular. It comes at a time of the year where we're seeking to re-engage after potentially a little bit of Christmas cheer and the opportunity to spend a bit of time with family. It's one of the first significant community events of the year. And it's a moment of significant joy. Over the last few years, I've had the privilege of as often as the member of Hartley, he and I have both represented the Liberal Party there, as has former Premier Marshall, in speaking to the crowd. But the way the radio engages, the way that the community engages, enjoying the tripa. I don't enjoy the tripa, but people tell me it's fantastic. Pasta pizza is always obvious, but you know, the extraordinary efforts that are made by the volunteers to have that festival that brings in the people, that has the music. My goodness, the music is special. And the opportunity indeed to engage with members of the community, ascoltatori a casa, listening at home through the radio, is much appreciated by many. When speaking at the festa this year, I had cause to reflect on the trip that the member for Hartley referred to when I went to Altavilla. That was a really important trip for me, because not having been to the south of Italy before, where so many of my constituents' families come from, It was an eye-opener in some ways, but a real opportunity to engage with the culture with which I was becoming very familiar as a result of being a member for Morialta. You door knock certain streets in Rostrevor, and Italian is more necessary than English to engage with some residents, the majority of residents in some streets. Many of them are from not just Altavilla, but surrounding towns, in Molinara, San Giorgio la Malara, Pietrelcina, the larger communities, Avellino, Benevento, and of course the broader Campania area. Probably 30 to 40% of the Italian community in Morialta is from these sort of neighbouring regions. That trip gave us the opportunity, the member for Hartley and I, to visit with many of those communities, not the member for Hartley's first time. But I remember doing the passeggiata in the evening down the main street of Altavilla. And one of the things that struck me were that there were as many, I think, Adelaide accents as there were Italian accents from people passing down the street and in that community. If you go to Altavilla in August, chances are you're not the only person from Adelaide who's visiting family there. And that amazing connection that people maintain, it's really important. People have given up enormous things in their life, made great sacrifices in the 1950s and the 1960s in many cases, and at great risk, at great courage to come to Australia to provide the opportunities for their families that they had heard that Australia might offer. And several years later, in most cases, had brought family out, but not everybody. There's usually some cousins or aunts and uncles or nieces and nephews that are remaining in Italy. And so the bond between the regions within Adelaide that have large Italian communities and the regions in Italy, whereas the member for Hartley said, often have fewer members of those communities left in Italy than they do in Adelaide. Those bonds are really precious. They speak to people's cultural identity. Their capacity to continue to maintain those traditions is very strongly supported by the existence of a club like the Altavilla Sports and Social Club. Sometimes, sir, people have suggestions about combining the Italian clubs. Now, there are occasions when, due to a lack of volunteer support or financial difficulties in the past, not every club that started 50 years ago or 40 years ago has maintained through to today. And sometimes that's very sad, and it's one of those facts of life that often we regret. Some of the clubs are going very strong. My view is that unless it is absolutely necessary through a lack of ability within the community to provide the necessary volunteers, we should fight to protect these clubs. I think that any ad hoc or from top-down proposals to shut down or merge local community clubs in favour of having broader representative clubs for entire regions, I think that would be mistaken. I think that would be a disservice to the volunteers and the community members who started these clubs in the case of this club 50 years ago. And certainly, I want to place on the record my support for these clubs, continuing independent for as long as they want to. It is great that there is always bipartisan support when there is a need for investment in communities such as this, and I think that in the years ahead, the Altavilla Club will surely continue to thrive, hopefully encouraging the experiences for people who have connections to the Italian community through marriage or local representation to connect in Italy. I want to acknowledge Pietro Rosato, who was in Adelaide very recently, works for the broader the council, in that area, and has built a very strong bond with Adelaide and facilitates engagements very strongly. He was in Adelaide recently, participating in community life at the club, and it was actually great to see him at the Altavilla Club just 3 or 4 weeks ago. To all of the leadership, Dominic and the team on the committee, staff, former committees, former volunteers, I offer my thanks, my support, and the continued support of the Liberal opposition for the operation of the Altavilla Irpina Sports and Social Club. Congratulations on 50 years of success, and may there be 50 years and more going forward where we can enjoy the fruits of Altavilla Irpina, its social, cultural and culinary contributions to our states as they continue in the years ahead.
No other speakers. If the member for Hartley speaks, he closes the debate.
Thank you, sir. I want to take this opportunity to thank the members on both sides of the chamber for supporting this motion.
I forgot to talk about that.
Oh, yes. The member for Moriata helpfully has reminded me that we should also pay tribute to the various saints that obviously have a very close affiliation to Altavilla Irpina. We should certainly mention them. Obviously, much has been said about St. Pellegrino already, but also to Alberico Crescitelli as well, when we had the good fortune to actually visit the local church when we were there and be taken through with the local priest and people like Pietro Rosado as well. But just in winding up, sir, I would like to take this opportunity to thank for the members on both sides of the chamber for supporting this motion today. I wish the Altavilla Irpina Sports and Social Club all the very best in their 50th year. I want to thank the volunteers past and present for all that they do for a very strong club that is widely regarded right throughout the whole of South Australia, and all the very best for the next 50 years as well.
Question before the chair that is that the motion be agreed to. I'll put that. All those in favour say aye. Those against say no. I call it for the ayes, and I'd just like to also add my personal congratulations to the club on its 50 years.